So, dear students, today I am going to discuss a very important and significant poem of Ted Hughes entitled October Dawn. Now, you have already studied the poems. Two poems you have already studied. One is The Thought Fox, and the other is Hawk Roosting. And you've already seen how animal imagery has been used by the poet, by Ted Hughes, in these poems. Hughes is a great uh, animal poet, you all know. In Hawk Roosting, you have seen the image of a hawk, but you have seen how theme of violence has been discussed by the poet in this poem. The Fox is a different poem in the sense that it deals with the theme of creativity. It is a poem about a poem. Coming to this third poem, which is prescribed in your course, that is October Dawn, a very significant, important poem discussing the nature, published in 1957 in the collection The Hawk in the Rain. In this poem, the poet discusses the approach of winter, of ice, of power. This also, reminds the poet of the past ice ages and how they changed and forged the terrain that is now our environment. In this poem, Hughes returns once again to the theme of raw power of nature. Though man may think he has tamed nature, it is an actual fact that still nature has the power to control. So this poem, October Dawn, discusses the onset of winter. Onset of winter. It anticipates the freezing cold. The poet uses graphic imagery in this poem in order to make the points clear to us. This poem can also be categorized as an apocalyptic poem. Now, when you say apocalyptic, it means forecasting the ultimate destiny of the world, or you can say relating to the total destruction of mankind. So you can relate this poem to apocalyptic, poem. When you look at the structure of the poem, you'll find out that there are, 10 couplets. The 10 couplets means 20 lines are there. The lines are of, uneven length, and we have enjambed line endings. And the enjambed line endings create a smooth flow. Now, when I use the word enjambed lines or enjambment, as I told you in my other discussion, the enjambment means the continuation of a sentence from one verse line to the next without a punctuated pause. In other words, reading must continue from one line to the next, uninterrupted, just for the flow of thought to be preserved and make sense. So, we have the couplets, 10 couplets, and the thought of, say, the second line flows to the third line without the punctuation mark. And that is why you say that the lines are enjambed. Coming to the poem. Now, October is marigold, and yet a glass half full of wine left out to the dark heaven all night by dawn has drained a premonition of ice across its eye, as if the ice age had begun its heave. When you read the poem, you find out that the voice is of an omniscient narrator, and he can be the poet. The speaker sees ice formed on a glass of wine which is left outside. This is actually the scene of a celebration, a feast in the lawn, and the speaker sees ice formed on a glass of wine left outside, and this prompts imaginative thoughts of past ice ages. And so the world as we know it has begun its heave. October is marigold. Marigold, you can say, rich in color, or yellow and orange. When the leaves become yellow and orange, they're the dead leaves about to fall. Now, or you can say, you can also relate it to Mary. And this is the month of October, and very soon Christmas will fall. And Christmas and Virgin Mary related. And Christmas means cold. So October is marigold, and it a glass half full of wine left out to the dark heaven all night. A glass half full of wine was left out, and by dawn has dreamed a premonition, prophecy. It saw a dream, it was a prophecy of ice across its eye, as if the ice age had begun its heave. The ice age has started its throw, actually. Since the celebration was going on in the lawn trodden by feet, because so many people were celebrating. The lawn overtrodden and strewn from the night before, and the whistling green shrubbery are doomed. Shrubbery, a place where a lot of bushes are found, are doomed, meet their death. Ice has got its spearhead into place. Spearhead, a person or group that begins the attacks. That is, ice age is about to start. And how does the winter season begin? Actually, first you have the cold waves, then severe waves, then the ice and all that. So we have the description here that first a skin delicately here restraining a ripple from the air, soon plate and river on pond and brook, then tons of chain and massive lock to hold rivers due to the ice. Then sound by sight will mammoth and saber-tooth celebrate reunion while a fist of cold squeezes the fire at the core of the world. With the two differences here, one is mammoth, other is saber-tooth. So we have actually the hyperbole, use of hyperbole here. Now, mammoth is, large elephant-like beast of the primitive time. And saber is, tiger-like beast with large teeth belonging to the prehistoric time. So, when the poet describes the cold season, the ice age, he says that I think mammoth and saber will start reunion. While a fist of cold squeezes means extinguish the fire at the core of the world. It is believed that there is a fire at the core of the earth. So this is also going to extinguish. Not only that, it squeezes the fire at the core of the heart. And now it is about to start, a season is about to start. Squeezes the fire at the core of the heart. Implicitly, the poem is a prophecy of the end of the world when coldness of the heart kills the affection of the mankind. So what you find here is that how beautifully the poet has described, in the poem, he anticipates the freezing cold and he gives, he has given the graphic imagery to explain the